I'm always such a mess. My problems I cannot confess. So tired. Never what you require. Been on one of your regrets. That sadness you will not address. So why? Yeah. Never felt less inspired. My problems I cannot confess. So tired. Never what you require.
Welcome, everyone. I know you've been very patient, so you are to be rewarded tonight with some Rocket League action. I'm Hell Monkey Man inside the booth alongside Hypheria, and we get to have a whole lot of awesome, starting with the Navigators Yellow Division. And Hypheria, we've been patient, but it's because there's just so much tension going into these final weeks as we start to hint and tint towards playoffs. But how are you tonight?
I am on the verge of sneezing, which is very annoying to be just live on broadcast. But apart from that, I'm doing absolutely lovely. Really looking forward to this because, indeed, as you say, the further you come in the season, the closer we are to playoffs, the more implications every single series is going to have. And this is certainly one of them.
This is across the line of qualifier. Top 8 for each of these little divisions here in Navigators. Neither little nor just infinitesimal in their talent pool. They're going to be able to see if they can make this into a playoff qualifier. You have Bryant University and Queens University. It's Boohoo the Bear and Tupper the Bulldog. Let's see if we can start things off here in game number 1 for this best of 5. They only have a couple of these left for the season.
Only a couple left as HVID goes down the line. You can't get past Yokels. Yokels will get past like Mike. And then it gets taken out by Number Unknown, a lovely little date somewhere scenic. No, absolutely taken to the scrapyard, but then down the other end, like for Mike, will go directly and convert.
You know, that's a weird way to start off a date, but sometimes you have to start it with a bang, and that's going to be going the other direction. It's a long walk on the beach that ends in fireworks, and, you know, hopefully they find a few in the other direction, too, as Bryant starts behind Queens University. I believe they're somewhere hinted around a 2-3, 3-3, but we're starting off at 1-1 regardless, and these guys started off on the kickoff.
Trading blows here, left, right, and this kickoff going a bit wrong for Queens there. I mean, somebody should be going for that, and nobody did, and they will end up conceding a goal. Bryant versus Queens. It will be an incredibly close matchup, indicated by the scoreline at the top as of right now. I'm not wanting either team to let anything up.
Definitely have to keep in lockstep, especially because these two teams either could see each other in a postseason debut or are going to be trying to knock one or another out, depending on how final records go. But as the opening minute does come and go, you have the likes of Bryant University on the attack. Hasagi to the opposite side corner, and everyone congregating to this corner so much you get a little bit of team bumping going on. But Bryant to try and set themselves up for success, be able to make a long press of this downfield. Hasagi looking to be able to get another chance, and mostly this has been a bit of a scramble here, Hypheria. They're really trying to see what they can get from the midfield.
I feel like scrambling is something that the Navigators division love. They're still trying to figure everything out, and the scrambling will lead to a lovely angle being put in by HVID.
HVID with ones across the board and an awesome takeaway. When you give away possession and in that inside angle, then that gives an opportunity for your opponent to take another strike. And that's Queens University one more time and getting the lead for themselves. Bryant University constantly playing from behind. They've only got that one kickoff to their name.
One kickoff, and that is mainly a mistake out of the opposing side. Queens, they've made a mistake, and not again, even though the shots, oh my word! Yeah, they've been leveled now, and what a way to level these shooting percentages, or shooting times, I guess, 3 times on both sides. Bryant not quite being as accurate there.
Well,
now they are.
Yeah, they'll sneak one through on you, Hyperion. Just when we go to sleep, Numba has really been putting up some numbers as he's able to find an open gap like for Mike. Just can't contain it on that back wall. And, time and time again, these guys are going to consistently be tied up. And game number one, first game of a series, usually is a feeler game. These guys are already throwing punches like they've known each other and don't like each other very much.
Haymakers going back and forth as HVID. Oh my word, that's a dangerous clearance. Skippy B knows it.
Punishing. Absolutely punishing. And HVID, he's been able to collect these, but he's also going to give them away. Skippy B, that's his third up on the board for Bryant University. The Bulldogs, the Dog Pound, they're coming in hot, they're coming in good. And, the top two, Skippy B and Numba, really able to make up for Yokels, who's kind of taking their time to be able to get in this matchup. But as we approach halftime, Queens University, another offensive. Hasagi goes to the top rope looking for a fake.
Only 10 seconds ago, within 10 seconds, Brian managed to pop 2 into the back of the net of Queens, take the lead there, maybe even 3 right here. Zagi out to the side. Zagi's still lurking underneath. One thing to get this down the other end as we get past half a time. Both these teams have still got so much to play for, but it is currently Queens in a very peculiar scenario, and I'm not too sure what's happening in goal there.
Yeah, I think that one may be a hugging it out scenario, but they will separate. The referee came in, said, hey guys, maybe get off the ropes, maybe save it for another time. But consistently, we're seeing a few extra double commits out of Queens as they feel a little bit more rushed to try and make these defensive plays, get rid of any of these Bryant University players. HVID from the midfield, but that's a giveaway. It goes over to Yokels. Yokels trying to get his name on the board, but it will be denied by Hasagi. Skippy B, he's becoming much more of a presence on the pitch to deny a lot of these breakaways upfield.
And Mike goes across the core. This will land into the box, but Yokels on the clear away. HVID looking for the follow, but it's Skippy B putting it past him, like for Mike. Pops that into the sky, follows it up himself. Can't quite get the second tap, and it's Skippy B now on the clear away. Sagi still keeps it in. HVID won't be able to continue that.
Skippy B won't skip a beat as he's making sure to yeet and delete any player that's going to be able to get in his way. See, I'm going to have fun with these guys' names. I love these names. This is anything you might find on an Xbox 360, pre-made for you. Skippy B, though, with a long clear downfield as Hasagi is trying to keep a lot of offensive presence here. Queens University have now been playing from behind for a hot minute. We're coming up on our final 60 seconds.
These final 60 seconds are going to be pivotal, but I always feel with Xbox usernames, it's like, it should be XX_ like from Mike 777 _ XX phase or something.
Ooh. Or Numba with the lines. Yeah, putting up more numbers here. Under 50 seconds, they're able to get a third, and that's actually their hat trick out of 4. Looking pretty good, securing these perimeter placements. You know what? Numba has been the leader for Bryant University. They will double up their lead they had already on Queens, and Queens got to fight back from behind. They started off great and early. They got to be able to make a lot of great clearances here on defense, but Numba's going to make that difficult with another top-level shot.
Wasagi with a clear away now. Like Mike needs to convert rather quickly. Goes for the boost, pops it up into the sky. Has been going for plenty of aerial plays. Can't quite land the flipper. He says Yokels takes it past him as well. Sagi loans him in the defense. Needs to clear it away. Does pop it out to the side. He should be able to get the clear now. But this is only 23 seconds. Goal needs to land right here, right now. And they're not going to find it.
That one was tough because Hasagi had a lot of space and he was looking for an option. Like Mike, he's been given a lot of time. HVID a little bit slow to it. This one could be all they need on Bryant to be able to put game number 1 away. A great start for the Bulldogs as the pen is barking and everyone's having a great time. Bury this bone, bury it to the ground. Like for Mike, maybe a like on Twitter, maybe one extra. He'll find one, and they could use that as a morale booster going to game 2.
That is certainly at least some sort of morale booster, like for Mike popping it through there. The Season 3 Grand Champ Tournament winner tag shining so beautiful with it on his nameplate. But it doesn't matter how beautiful your tags are, because what matters is how many numbers you put up. As he put up 3 for his team, and that's enough to equal Queen's score. The Skippy B to top it all of Bryant winning game number 1.
And Bryant University, they start off a little bit slower. Sometimes you'll see the one of the two squads just be a little bit of asleep. They've been hanging out the lobby a little bit longer than Queens, who were able to find their third and get on in. So I expect Numba to be consistently looking for options and chances to really punish the likes of Queens if they cannot clean up their defense. But as we go to game number 2, a lot of extra communication, should be able to lock that down, see if we can get some improvements moving into this next game, because Queens does not want to fall too far behind. They might, just might, with a win, same for Bryant, be able to secure themselves a playoff position.
Ooh, that's so important, especially since these teams are basically direct competition. 2-3 and 2-4. You need to be winning against people with the same record. You'll pull ahead of them, and you'll have the head-to-head advantage. So many important things as we go into game number 2 now. An important start for Queens, but they're seemingly going the wrong way. It's Brian putting on the pressure, and Like Mike breakaway now. This should be an opportunity where he can score. Skippy B getting tripped up, and it's Like Mike to score the first.
That looks like deja vu like crazy. All 3 press up from Bryant University. It's sharks circling around, blood in the water, but someone had a bigger boat and a larger spear, and they took everyone down in a counterattack. That is Like for Mike, finishing what he did at the end of game 1 and making that true in game 2.
It's going to land right in front of HVID. Out to the side. This is a similar scenario that Queens were in before, but Bryant, they were able to regain themselves into the latter part of the game. Skippy B, that's a good first touch. Looks for this follow-up, but doesn't quite have enough boost. Numba tries to rip an angle. Doesn't quite have the flip anymore. Now Numba gets bumped as well. Skippy B, it's challenging. Confident third man, not quite getting in on target. Now Numba has to back off to his own quarter. We'll try for the 100 boost and we'll succeed.
We're seeing a lot of that 3-man press out of Bryant. It gave them a lot of good dividends from game number 1 as they were able to make panic ensue on the defense. That did break up from Queens, but they've been a little bit more patient, a little bit more wary. This attack is going to find HVID rolling in reverse, but able to practice that 3-point turn as best he can. Doesn't get punished, but Skippy B trying to again skip his way through. Numba, he will double commit on top of Yokels, who came alive late in game 1. Gonna see if they'll be able to clean that up. A lot of diversity and a lot of traffic as Bryant is sent the other direction.
Sagi don't bumping everybody, but Numba goes down the other end. Surely has a free opportunity, indeed does, but Asagi is a bit too early too. Yokels with another one. Asagi up high, just towards the midfield line. Skippy B's up early, which allows HVID for a clear away. Numba still diving into that challenge. Skippy B engaged in a 50 with Like Mike. Skippy B now to the center, gets past one, not quite on target. And now Numba or Skippy B either one of them can finish it up, but they bump into each other, and now neither will.
I thought Numba was going to help Skippy B be able to hang up for just a little bit longer and maybe push his teammate into that shot. These counterplays out of Queens have been very short-lived as Bryant has held a lot of possession. Look at this traffic. It's absolute mayhem out there. Everyone over the midfield line, hanging over that little, that larger-sized boost. Yokel's going to come from that side wall to try and hang one up for a chance, but Numba will not overcommit. Skippy B instead will go for the intercept. And a dolphin dive stylistic shot out of HVID. They're trying a lot of good things. They have all of 1 goal up.
You need to be complacent if you go for that diving playstyle. You can't dive in for everything, especially because your opponent will at some point notice they're just diving in for everything. Let's just throw a fake, completely send them into the woods and move on with our live. Like Mike, 1v1 scenario against Numba, tries to fake it out in this particular instance. Can't manage to do so as Yoko's still awkward on the clear away. Skippy B on the backboard, also not managing that clear as it's Asagi who has to take lead and directly shuts a Numba down.
Yeah, this has been a lot of chances for the likes of Queens University. They have won a couple of even 1v2s. A lot of open space. Hisagi, this is the 3rd time I've seen him roll up into this corner, but it's the first time that Numba has been able to take away a transitional bit of space from that wall. Hisagi waiting, trying to shadow play as best as he can. This is a chance. This is a threat. Yokels, he's going to leap to it. Numba's going to run away because Skippy B's got a shot, and the defense will be able to stall it out.
Just delays the inevitable there with passing it straight back to the center. Has to defend again. They do manage to do so and also move across the pitch. Numba pinching it with his own back wall. Not quite getting the pinch that he was looking for as Skippy B clears it away properly, or at least that's what he thought. Like Mike will storm in for the pop back in as Yokels gives it away a bit too far forward. He goes as HVID closes the gap now. And like Mike, 0 boost on the takeover, so that will probably end in a dead attack.
Yeah, this is one of the few great things that's really happened in favor of Queen's University is that they have been able to go up and meet Bryant University out in space. They've denied them some freewheeling attacks, and this one, though bouncing, it will require 2, and still is a little bit off target. So Queens, they score that opening goal in the first minute. This nice handoff, maybe a chance. Hasagi's cut short. But again, Bryant University have not been able to do much more than just flirt with the ball outside of the shooting zone.
You sometimes need to make advances sometimes if the time is right and when you think you have a proper chance. Thus far, Brian, this is certainly one of them, but Number puts it a bit high. They still stay in the net. Brian continue the attack. Will try to siege this net. There they go. Yokel storming through.
Yokels saw 2 at the near side post. He just had to wait, see if a miss would happen. HVID, it was all like for Mike after that, and he found him sleeping. It was a lot of trust in HVID. That miss suddenly ties us up very, very late. About as many seconds as it took to score the first goal at this game now remains.
Here we go. Might just go to an overtime scenario, but Skippy B, no, he does not want to.
No, Skippy B wants to get this done. They want to get a 2-game series if they can be on match point rather, as they go into game number 3, but still plenty of time. Queens been unable to score. They've had all of 2 shots across these 5 minutes of play. 1 went in, 1 has not. They got to be able to get more, but that could be a lot to ask for. Like for Mike, he's over Hasagi, but Hasagi, it's in between. Nice intercept. That's 2 up from Bryant University. A pop-up. They have to keep this airborne. Lots of individual control. That's a bump. Hasagi, backboard. Do they have numbers? The shot will be taken away, and Bryant University, they will be able to make it here into game 3, and they're 2 up.
Brian's late game, even though in Rocket League it's not really a thing since you don't really evolve or anything. But Brian do. They very much do up their play, up their pace into the attack, are able to fend off the initial advances of Queens, slap it out to the side and go into the counter-attack. Brian, they're playing exquisitely.
They are, and they've been able to make kind of a good profit out of the likes of Queens not bringing their second man when they have a few open chances. I need to see a little bit more of that. Queens met them in the midfield. Late evolution brought Bryant to be able to, find those shooting patterns and find those gaps and chances when they weren't there the whole time. I just need to see a more complete game out of Queens, or else they're not going to be able to stand a chance. But right now, it's been very close for the most part. Bryant University could be taking this in a sweep, and we could be moving to our next series here more quickly than we thought. But still, this is anyone's match. As long as Queens finds their identity sooner, they do have to reverse sweep to take it, though.
Reverse sweep. So incredibly difficult because the opposing team has gotten the better of you twice in a row. Now going into this 3rd game, surely there can be some great things out of the Queens side. For example, the player up right now, like Mike, is showing some mechanics, doesn't quite have the shooting ability to really finish it off.
Lateral play, though, as Skippy B, he's been able to make use of a lot of chances that come out of his own backboard. A nice back pass from Hasagi. If they can get these recognition points down for Queens University, they'll be able to outplay Bryant University. But still, it's been Skippy B really leading the charge, giving chances to his teammates to be just present of mind on the offensive half. Looking for the redirect. That shot will be wide, but again, if you're kind of a 1-to-1, who's going to be your top man on either side? I just look at Skippy B and like for Mike.
Absolutely, they're the front runners right now, and Skippy B especially keeping it cool to finish the final game off. Honestly, on the side of Bryant, I think it's mainly the team play that they're able to find, and on the side of Queens, they're quite relying on the capability of like for Mike. His Number puts his name forward as well.
Hasagi just lost that possession, and it was consistent attack. This one was going to dangerously roll. Like for Mike, just kind of wobbled when he should have hobbled to be able to get back to that ball. And inside this first minute of play, the early lead previous was Queens. This time, Bryant University finally finds the first for themselves.
Number up high. Can they find the second as well? The early game for Bryant never been their strongest suit, but well, they might just make it their strong suit and then force the play as this lands awkward into the box. Yokel stays on the line, but it's Skippy B. He reads.
Was Yokel harassing the goalie? What was happening here? I want to look at it specifically there. Just kind of, oh no, he's just hanging out. All right, so great viewership and great awareness by Skippy B to never give up on the play. I thought Yokel's was like pumping goalies or something. He just ended up getting a kind of a front row seat to the entire play.
I like Mike. Wants to give himself a front row seat. Surely he's able to do so, but this is exactly the department I said he was lacking in, the shooting department. And they do manage to clear it away yet again on the side of Brian. They keep on fending off attacks, and it will be soon hopeless for Queens.
Another chance as Yokels is there early, but the putback is Skippy B. Never skipping a beat. I know I said that earlier, but the man is always there for that next part of the attack, able to finish it off on the third man.
He's always on point, always there, always running a nuisance, and he's still saying, I'm sorry to anyone who's watching this game, and even though he's performing very well, and I don't know whether it's a bit of BM coming out.
You know, whether it be BM, whether it be him just being humble bragging, if you will. You know, I'm enjoying watching the game. Hey, don't skip out on yourself, Skippy. I want to see more, but it's gonna be
Maybe
like
he's
for
talking
Mike.
about us.
Oh, maybe. Oh, maybe that we have to watch. Wow. Okay, so maybe this.
Wow, so
I understand.
toxic, bro.
Okay, I understand. Well, as we've seen it now, 3-0. Bryant had been keeping it close with Queens, other direction as well. Queens been trying to catch up to Bryant, but Bryant, they let one through. That's a familiar angle from Hasagi.
A lofted one into the back of the net, and I love that. Yokels couldn't quite get the clear and couldn't quite get the block, and that does lead to not quite getting the save. 2-goal differential is what they have to work back from, and especially with that bit of BM. Always when I have that, always when I start being a bit too funny for my own good, that's where I start throwing.
Oh yeah, that's but
Never mind. Skip it. B doesn't know.
Yeah, he's one of those gamers. You know, they lean forward, they put their elbows to their knees, and they get that gamer lean going. But then he's like, no, I'm sorry, no, you're not gonna win this game. I will be here. I will go on the attack at halftime. They have been able to resolutely get back to that 3-goal differential in their favor. Brian still controls this. Queens has the chances. They just have to press upfield, get a lot of these pressing from the perimeter. This is a favorable corner for them.
They should need to up the attack a bit. HFIT jumps in, but only once Yokels actually is there. Now the counterattack kickstarted directly. They don't quite have the sustained pressure that they need to break through the Brian offense, or defense rather, but like Mike, this is a great opportunity. Hookshot tries to be set up. That touch out of Yokels completely sends it the wrong way. Hasagi finds the post and nothing else, passes it back. But HFIT, that touch just sends it wide. Hasagi can come in for a second goal, but 0 boost in the tank, and now also an L in the bag. We're gonna have to reboot all the way from the start.
The creativity of those acute level passing was well, it was exquisite. It was clever, but it just didn't plan out into everyone being on the same page at the same time. Timing is huge if you're trying to get that kind of passing going, and this is a great time to practice. Do a little bit more of that before the game as well. As we come up on a minute and a half remaining, just 90 seconds left. This could be somewhat of an elimination match from the regular season, and Skippy B. He's 4 of 6. The man does not miss. Well,
I feel like... does he? Yeah, he missed twice.
Couple.
But, you know, we won't be nitpicky, I guess. I mean, they are up 5-1, to be fair to them. So, I mean, we can be very nitpicky, but I think it's the Queen side who's got some improving to do. If they do make playoffs, if they do want to have a chance, they need to close out those other 2 weeks, because let's face it, this game probably ain't it.
Yeah, this one would take maybe not a miracle, but a very consistent press to be able to get through. And with the traffic as we've seen it, this is just, it's speedball as best as you can make it, but you have to get some solid connections. Skippy B, it's actually going to be a miss. Like Mike, looking for chances. It's over to Hasagi. He's been a shooter, and that's another one. Oh, no! I think that would have gone in. The defender didn't have the boost to be able to get there. No, a chance gone.
Well, it just keeps on getting worse and worse and worse, I feel like. And at this point, they might already be out of it, even if they can't find that one elusive goal. And I like Mike. He's chasing it right here. Shooting. Not quite there yet again. Goes for the hook shot, but gets way too much lifted. And then, well, you have Number still there as well.
They just haven't been able to break through the Iron Curtain all but more than once. Mike for Mike, another chance. A lot of great shooting did come out from Queens, but it was Bryant University that was way more consistent. The dog pound, it is loud, it's proud, and it's hoofing and woofing the whole time down. 10 seconds left, 5-1. They may be able to get another. Yes, they do. Match up those numbers with Numba, and you know, we could be going to Brazil.
Are we getting that Brazil? That 7-1 scoreline, that beautiful meme reference to the 2014 game, obviously between Brazil and Germany.
Of course,
I would love to see it.
If you guys didn't know, that's what it was. If you didn't know, you know now.
If you don't know, now we know. I'm not going to finish that sentence, not going to finish that lyric, and that will bring me a heap of trouble. 6-1, I think that this Brazil won't be found.
Well, regardless, they took a good trip of it, and Bryant University, they will go into this series and come out looking pretty clean, 3-0, and we'll get to see exactly how that pans out for them. They were on the lower side of current divisional standings. This will definitely help them improve. Queens University, they came out swinging, but they just didn't have the throughput or the wherewithal to maintain it for the entirety of the series. And this one, they do have a little bit of work left in them, but it's going to come down to the wire who will make that top 8 for this division into the playoffs.
I thought it would be so much closer as well. I was extremely looking forward to this series, since you look at the scores, 2-3 to 2-4. You expect, hey, these teams are going to be battling it out and going to that game 5. No, it's just a complete and utter domination and a sweep for Bryant.
Yeah. And sometimes the differential is just going to be a little bit too stark, but it's also dependent upon where you find these teams throughout their season. Some teams, they progress as they go later. Some teams, they kind of devolve. And, you know, a lot of individual play, and a team that wasn't quite complete out of Queens does fall to Bryant University. But that is not our only series of the day, Hyperion. So my only one for this one, I get to come back later. I don't know if you get to stay too, but you guys in the chat, you get to stay as more NECC esports here will continue with more Rocket League action, but it's be right after this.
Hello, folks. We are back with, of course, another matchup. It should be a banger, and oh, I've got a beautiful man sitting next to me to take us through. Lars, how are you doing?
I am Swell High Fury. I think it's been, I don't know if we've ever actually had a chance to cast together, but this is exciting to be here with the one and only High Fury. I'm no Hail Monkey Man, but I'm going to do my best to bring this action to you. URG Black versus Fanshot Falcons. URG coming in 4-2 versus the Fanshot Falcons 6-0. So it could be a bit of an uphill battle for URG.
Absolutely, and well, Fanshawe only going to their 5th game of the previous week, so maybe they're falling off or the competition is getting better. We might never know, but we're certainly going to know the outcome of this series in about 30, maybe 45 minutes. Approximation time, as we do see a dog in the background. Hello.
Yeah, the door is open. I apologize. This isn't a normal Lars
No,
Newcast. There's no
no.
green screen. There's nothing to block out my background because new house, new setup, new echoes. But there's a dog. Hi, buddy. That's not what we're here for. We're here for some Rocket League action. Players on the field, game underway, 5 minutes on the clock. Let's get it started. In the blue, URG, Anonymous, J-Spiel, and Natsu versus Fanshaw's Boxes, Dungeon, and Sustain.
Ooh, a scary tag, though, for the URG side. A Season 3 Supersonic Legend on J-Spiel. On the other side, it's all GC tags and one tile Annihilator, so I guess SSL in. That's actually very impressive. SSL on drop shot. Natsu, though, trying to go down the other end, gets dropped.
Yeah, the SSL in the extra modes is much harder to achieve than you might think. That's a great shot on net. Dungeon just ringing the crossbar. We'll get the chance to cycle through. Anonymous finds a way to keep that one clear. And after an absolutely devastating threat down on the URG net, they walk away unscathed.
Sustain still ups the pressure, though. Tries to keep the kettle cooking. Natsu to the center. Dungeon tries to place the top bins and just wide. Sustain still up to the skies. They're trying to waste their boost, but they also are losing boost themselves. Anonymous now with the clear away goes to his own backboard, and Dungeon is in there, right in their face. Natsu finally with a clear away, but Boxes, he's able to miss the ball, I guess. Yeah, that was anticlimactic.
An interesting miss out of a player that we know is more than capable of picking that one up and being very threatening. Now, Sustain's being threatening off the ceiling, looking for that late touch to put it on. Well met by Natsu. That's something that URG, despite having that SSL on their team, has struggled to get clear of their own end. They finally find this one down in Fanshaw's end, but they've spent so much time on the defensive. A strong defense, that is, but I'd love to see them get upfield a little bit and get an opportunity the other way. Dungeon puts one on net, and they'll score first.
Dungeon on Fanshaw. URG absolutely no chance in this iteration. Dungeon having all the space to shoot. Natsu dropping from the backboard, trying to hit the ball in the way, just get a tiny tap on it. That might just send it wide, but that's not going to be enough. URG, they're putting under hefty pressure, and Fanshaw, they're just taking control. And Boxes, well, do I know Boxes, what a defensive player he has been the past season. I'm glad to see him back.
Yeah, it's interesting here. 7 shots out of Fanshaw so far to URG's 1. Really need to see URG turn this one around and make Boxes live up to that reputation of being a defensive player. Get them on the back foot and try to bring some pressure downfield.
Natsu bring the pressure downfield. J-Spiel gets a touch, but whether it's a good one, that's something we'll find out. Good pass back, though, and Anonymous gets 50 on it. Sustains past the ball, and Anonymous also not quite getting that read. Boxes 50s Natsu down the other end. Boxes good speed, but still meets J-Spiel for that 50. Sustain engaged in a 50 with 2 now, and also loses out on that occasion as J-Spiel tries to set up an attack. What a spike down. I didn't see that one coming.
Fanshaw does such an excellent job of recovering and getting back to that ball, though. They're so quick to pick this one up. They're so quick to just continue the flow forward. Sustain with an opportunity met by Natsu, and now this one back down the other way. Boxes an awkward touch. They're bumped. That's a shot on net, but Dungeon with a diving save will keep this one clear.
Natsu tries to set up the attack as well. They've been keeping it clear on the side of Fanshaw, but URG, they're knocking, but currently this is going down the other end. It might just trickle on in. And still, Dungeon pops it into the box. Natsu, very simple stuff on the clear away, and on the mouse, it's a big boom. It won't quite reach anyone from his team. It will reach Dungeon, then dives underneath the play, goes for a shave on J-Spiel, gets the tap finally, but it messes up Dungeon more than himself.
I do like to see that hunting the physical play here. It's something that tends to be a little bit lacking early in a series. Is look at those bumps, those demos, those attempts to really disrupt the defense. What an awkward touch or lack thereof. Dungeon will matrix that one and give Natsu a free walk home.
Oh, this is not what you'd expect out of Dungeon, just completely flying through, and he's been doing such great work, and all that great work to be undone with one tiny misplay, or well, one massive misplay, I should say, because flipping past the ball like that should not be happening. URG, they've just gotten gifted a way back into this match, or not only a way back, to tie it all up, and we're basically starting from scratch.
Yeah, we're back to effectively the 0-0 scoreline. Hey, no one's got that point advantage, and now we're late in the game. It could be golden goal territory where the next one is the deciding factor with how low scoring this has been so far. Anonymous trying to get that one center. URG finally finds some footing, finally finds a way to get pressure upfield, and they're making the most of it. Natsu to the corner, has the follow through, will score, and now it's 2-1, a quick turn for URG.
This is going rapidly out of hand for Fanshawe. They're still only 1 goal behind, but the confidence of Dungeon must be somewhere deep, dark down. And I guess you could say it's in a dungeon.
I hate that I could see that one coming a mile away. There's nothing I could do about it. But I do have to agree, Dungeon, you know that they're a capable player playing at this level, but both of these goals kind of coming off the back of Dungeon. Little bit of mistakes here. The Matrix on the first one, and then failing to find that touch on the back wall. They're going to be looking for redemption going forward, and they're going to need it. 31 seconds left on the clock, and URG is putting pressure on. Dungeon picking up a savior medal, trying to turn this one back around.
Natsu pops it off his own backboard. Dungeon still popping it forward, but they're still doing a little popping, but no actual scoring here. They have total 16 seconds to try and do so. Sistane backs off. Boxes still keeps in the vicinity, but Dungeon dives in to keep this play from going forward. Boxes to the backboard now. Can he bump Natsu? No, but it will be spiked down by Sistane. And that is equal.
Wow, 5 seconds left, and Fanshawe in a return to form early this game, getting offensive pressure, just an absolute onslaught, taking advantage of that back wall, getting gifted to them by URG. That's such an effective way to open up the net, hit that back wall, force the defense away from the front of the net, and find those follow-through shots. Now 0 seconds on the clock. If you're looking to put this one away in regulation, there's the opportunity, but Dungeon doesn't find the corner. Ball still up, still an opportunity, still in front of the URG net. This one waterfalls down, boxes us up, and it's met overtime in game number 1.
Oh my word, Fanshawe, they've pulled this back and almost were able to finish this in regulation. This is fortunate for Dungeon. Keeps up to the play, enough boost to try and make a shot. Try it will be Sistane. Backs up Boxes, takes control, 50s into the box. Sistane can't quite get the tap, backflips awkwardly, and the recovery will be a lengthy path. Jacebill and Natsu both on the back row. Dungeon, he redeems himself.
After a bit of awkwardness late in game number 1, Dungeon makes the comeback here. The play through the corner. Natsu's not there in the big demo. I know Natsu was looking to have that last defender there. They absolutely expected that ball to get picked up before it finds the front of the net. But unfortunately for URG, that's not the case. Dungeon carrying through with the top score on their team. That's a redemption story. In just game number 1, how incredible have we gotten off to such a fast start?
He's just a showman. He just wants to give us the best game possible, I guess. Sometimes it's as simple as that. Making 2 mistakes to give URG an opening, because let's be realistic. URG, all their goals came from massive mistakes, and I don't think Dungeon's going to make them very often.
No, especially as they get into their groove here, they get some of that confidence back like you talked about, and they find themselves in a much better footing going forward. It's going to be tough for URG. URG, like you said, got gifted a couple of goals. They need to find a way to create opportunities themselves and not rely on Fanshawe to hand them opportunities, because they're not going to continue to get those. And as we saw, just a game number 1, if that's the strategy, it's a losing strategy.
You don't want to be adapting a losing strategy. URG, they need to try and turn something around. I think it's more that they need to adapt and go into the attack more, but it's so hard when Sistane and Dungeon are looking to combine in your defensive end. And also, you get clobbered out of the way. Box is still with a 50. Jacebill taps and breaks to prevent an own goal in this game, starting off full of action.
Quick back and forth right off the bat here. Now a little bit of a scramble in the corner, and everyone decides to back off and just give this one space. Sistane back passing to set up an opportunity, but a little bit of a slowdown. We saw such rapid aggression at the end of game number 1. I think both teams taking advantage of the start of game number 2 to say, okay, let's reset a little bit. Let's get a little bit more methodical in our attack and let the pace just chill out just a little bit.
They agree to an armistice. Sometimes that's necessary to recuperate all from the losses. Anonymous moves through with Sistane, try and wreak havoc once again. Anonymous messes up that rotation, or the recovery rather, and Jacebill now needs to back off quickly. Natsu gets the first touch, but Boxes is patient, gets a touch. That sets it up for Anonymous, goes for a shot. Easily cleared by Dungeon.
A little over 1 minute gone. No one's found the back of the net yet, but so far significantly more even than we saw in game number 1. That's a great pass down, but stacking deep on that goal line is Fanshawe. Natsu with an opportunity, early jump from Dungeon, and it gets punished when it doesn't clear the shooting lane.
I'm not too sure. I feel like this clear away was a bit lackadaisical. Dungeon, he could be doing so much better, but I guess he has to also recount or take into account that the shot can go somewhere else, and it's a good place shot to think about what happens next. It's now 1-0 up for URG, and this is looking solid. Oh, no, never mind, Fanshawe. That is brilliant.
I want to go back to that first goal and defend Dungeon for a second, but before we could do that, Sustain taking that advantage off the kickoff and boxes up early, puts a beautiful shot on to tie this one right back up. Absolutely disgusting. Before I forget, in defense of Dungeon, they're alone. It's in front of the net. The attackers got the whole net to shoot at. They get up to it early, and they do a good job reacting quickly. Unfortunately, being alone like that puts them in such a tough spot to get a good, effective clear, and the rest of the team doesn't get back quick enough. They get punished for it.
And you also have to deal with the mental losses of being alone. Let's not forget that. That's all. You never want to be lonely.
One is... I'm not going to go down that road. I can't sing Dungeon. Oh, gets a little bit of a flip reset there, but there's the attempt to oh my goodness, bicycle kick that one back in, and Fanshawe finding their groove yet again. When they are on, they are absolutely oppressive in the offensive zone.
They are jiggling, and they are not giving any sort of wiggle towards URG. Sustain back to his own corner, and that's a decent pop. But actually, Natsu's able to rip the shot. Dungeon this time does a jump in the correct time. Dungeon still in the clear away. J-Spiel a bit quicker as they do land at the edge of the 16. Natsu forces it through, pops inside. Boxes needs to clear it away as we cross half time. It is URG with a more sustained attack.
Yeah, it's a bit of a change of pace from game number one. Natsu with an opportunity. Dungeon stands tall, picks up a savior medal in the process. But this continues to be threatening in the offensive zone. To your point, URG doing an excellent job of establishing that midfield wall and just absolutely peppering this net and down in the Fanshawe end of the field. There's an open opportunity. J-Spiel with an easy drive home to that back corner.
It's an easy drive, but it's got me worried. I did not know for sure whether this one was in, but J-Spiel, calm, cool, collected, taps it in the bottom left corner, will convert yet again, putting URG up by one. But we all know what happened last time. Fanshawe, they're not letting up that easily. This will pop to the center, and on a mouse might be able to take control. Gives it another tap to the backboard with Sustain. Easily gets in the way. Dungeon lurking right behind Sustain and not quite setting up for a passing play. And that's what something Fanshawe can still do better, is try and find those passing plays.
What I really want to see here is Fanshawe, if they want to turn this back into game number one, they need to find the pressure they had in game number one. They had a short stint of about maybe 30 seconds where they really tried to embody that aggressive, dominant play style. But that's it. It was only about 30 seconds in this whole game. They had a couple opportunities quick down the field. They obviously had that beautiful shot, that connection between Sustain and boxes. But one quick opportunity and one sustained offensive pressure isn't going to take down this URG team. Now, with 69 seconds left on the clock, they have to find a way to convert quickly.
Nice. That's all I have to say. Nice. It's already, the moment's long gone, and also the moment of URG attacking because this Dungeon rips one off the crossbar. Sustain and boxes combined, and Dungeon, I'm not too sure whether that was going in, but now it 100% is not.
I feel bad because we're going to call out Dungeon again, but I do want to give credit to Dungeon. There's almost the double touch, the follow through to finish it off from Anonymous, but J-Spiel was looking for the dirt nasty.
I feel like Dungeon is zero hero. He can do the most amazing stuff, but also look absolutely foolish, and that's why we love him, right? That's why we love him. He brings spice to a game, and URG, they're bringing heat.
Yeah, again, to the credit of Dungeon, despite how this has gone so far, they have not stopped going for the big plays. It has not allowed them to shake their confidence and really step back and play timid and lack of aggression. When they need to get up there and get in the face of URG, they are there. But right now, they need to find the back of the net. 19 seconds left on the clock. URG just gets stuffed by their own player, looking to finish this one off and put that final nail in the coffin.
Sustain has one last attempt, but Natsu shuts that down at its roots. Boxers and Dungeon, they try and combine together further across the pitch. They do get it further, but it will be all be for nothing as the timer takes down to 0. The score differential still 2, and Dungeon knows it, puts it to the ground. A URG pull it level.
We asked URG to find opportunities themselves, to not allow Fanshot to just gift them opportunities to create them on their own terms, and they absolutely delivered. URG stepped up to the plate. They said, hey, Fanshaw, we like the way that you got that offensive pressure on us in game number 1. Guess what? We can do it too. They brought it back downfield. They got the pressure. They got the demos. They opened the net, and they walked away with a W.
I still feel that Fanshawe could be doing better. I'm not too sure, but it feels like their rotation isn't quite clicking the way it could be, which would make them a terrifying side to go up against. And currently, URG, they're doing a phenomenal job at fighting them off, but I feel like there's more that brought the Fanshawe that 6-0 record. But let's just see what Game 3 brings.
Yeah, this URG, I would say threatening to maybe take down Fanshawe for the first time this season, but the last 2 series Fanshawe played both went to Game 5. Boxes off of Sistane again on the kickoff will open up the scoring.
This is just exactly proves my point. I feel like there's so much more. Boxes a third man, full of confidence, absolutely reeking of it, and 8 seconds in, they're already leading by 1, and they set the tone of this match. Now they also need to continue setting the pace.
Yeah, this is what Fanshawe needed after falling in game number 2 to come out early against URG and say, hey, it was a fluke. This is our series, but they're getting stuffed into their own end again off the bat here. They're struggling to get this ball clear. We need that Sistane Boxes purpose pass upfield and not just this dump and chase that allows URG to turn around and throw it right back downfield.
And that pathfinding towards the passes has been so great, but Dungeon taking it to the skies in J-Spiel for the second time, incredibly early to it. Then Dungeon, he's got enough of all the shenanigans and just goes for a demo, shaves one's head off. And they do not get down to the other side. Sistane has to hurry back, and Onamaz will take all the boost. Natsu still flying on through and getting a decent 50, but Boxes, he's equal to the clear away. Dungeon extends down to the other end. J-Spiel equal to it, but needs to get a touch on this. No, doesn't need to, because great bump for an Onamaz.
This is what's so scary about URG right now. Sistane's up with a shot on net, and J-Spiel doesn't get there. That'll find the top corner off the nose of J-Spiel.
An absolute bang from Sistane right at close range. You're almost never going to be stopping that. A similar scenario that Dungeon have found themselves in as well, where you need to jump, you need to guess, you guess wrong, and that's just a goal against you. Nothing you can really do about it.
Yeah, when you're alone with that awkward angle, there's a great angle out of Boxes. There's so much I want to say, but with Fanshawe running away with game number 3, there's no time to say it.
They're absolutely legging it, and once again, I already said it at the start of the game, I felt like there was more to it. I said, this is exactly why, and I'll reiterate, this is exactly why they're currently leading by 3, only barely a minute in, and, well, they're looking to extend.
I do want to point out these have been very quick kind of one-shot opportunities out of Fanshawe. They haven't made that sustained offense. And hey, as long as it keeps working, keep doing it. But it just opens up the door for URG. If they can stop that first shot, it puts them in position to turn this one back around.
It puts them in position. We're coming back from a 3-0 deficit when goals have been so hard to come by. Dungeon with a second tap, sending it towards a Boxes. Dungeon going out wide. J-Spiel not quite finding the pre-flip. Dungeon also not finding the boost, but the pass back. There's the passing lane and all. Yes. Yes. I like it.
This is that rotation you wanted, and Dungeon with a great little touch. It's just enough, not too much, and it baits the entire URG defense away from the net. Excuse me. Nobody home, nobody left to try to turn that one away, and this is Fanshawe at its peak.
Absolutely. Their peak is absolutely scary to go up against, but URG, they have not quite shown up to the same potential that they showed in that game number 2 to tie up this series. Fanshawe, they look dominating. This looks as if they might just be sweeping, but that's already impossible in J-Spiel. This save is possible.
Yeah, it's a big dive, though, from an accurate shot on net. And that's something else to look out with Fanshawe if you're URG right now, is they've proven they can be accurate and they can throw shots on net from anywhere on field. It means you have to respect the shot from anywhere. You can't say, oh, this is a transition, let's play this one upfield, and the team bump. Oh, my goodness. Had that not found the back of the net, that would have been devastating on the side of URG.
Just gives us a tiny bit of sweat, but Anonymous is very much prepared for it, and that's why you always sneak up. Don't just say, oh, I've got 2 teammates there. They 100% have got it. Always stay lurking. Obviously, don't triple commit, but always stay lurking, because the differential is now reduced to 3. 2.5 minutes. In theory, it should be possible.
It's doable, but it's so difficult with the way Fanshawe has been able to strike quick. J-Spiel will cut it in half a scant 9 seconds later.
All of a sudden, it goes from it will be very hard to this is actually very doable. 2 goals, if you can pop them in at this pace, of course it's doable, but you don't even need to hurry quite yet.
Yeah, at this point now, the biggest win here is they picked up huge momentum and simultaneously cut that lead down to an extremely manageable number. URG, I tried to say this at the beginning of the game before Fanshawe just ran through 3 goals real quick. The one thing that they do very well is when they get set up, they can set themselves up so well that they can make big plays with 1 player in a 3v3 matchup. If they can find a way to get that kind of setup and then commit 2 players into it, they could be deadly going forward.
It's always so scary when you have one player who kind of does all the work in a way where you always need to be shutting that down. And I do kind of still feel like that player is Dungeon. You need to shut him down. He's been big all the way across the pitch, pretty much being everywhere at all times. And it's such a nuisance to be dealing with as J-Spiel from distance. And oh, there he is. Dungeon clears it away.
Well, that being said, if you continue to pressure Dungeon, we've seen they're a little bit shaky on the consistency side, and that's something that can be very dangerous because without that consistency, I mean, I hate to say it, consistency wins championships. You can have teams that have that huge pop-off factor, players with a huge pop-off factor like Dungeon, but if they can't continue to be very, very solid, it's going to be very difficult to find wins.
Exactly. The consistency needs to be the baseline. The pop-off potential should just stay the pop-off potential, not per game, where you, in the end, get a flat line. No, you need a flat line with some peaks in there. No, either way, minutes still remains, and we've run down so much time off the clock, and this is getting harder and harder by the second for URG.
Well, Boxes has a little bit too much on the wall there. Anonymous has an opportunity. J-Spill's the only one back in the net. Anonymous is met by Dungeon. Who else? We just can't stop saying their name.
It's hard, even though like, he's bottom of the scoreboard for Fanshawe, he still is everywhere. And once again, furthest back in defense, just knows how to tackle this problem. And that is just to sit back as J-Spiel tackles his own teammate. Anonymous now has to go back on defense. Ooh, that was close for a demo, but I think this game might just be out of hand.
Yeah, I always like to say midfield play doesn't get points. So Dungeon showing up huge. Boxes also showing up huge. 50s the life out of the defenders here and puts this one firmly out of reach.
Box is actually with 4 goals as well. What a performance out of him to all of a sudden show up like that is absolutely phenomenal. And with 3 goals in 11 seconds, I can tell you 100% this is not going to be happening.
Yeah, well, Boxes, I mean, that's another one that's come up a couple of times here. When you're looking for accurate power shots on net, Boxes has been there. Looking for one more URG, trying to get one for the road, trying to get some momentum into game number 4. Fanshawe making it difficult. Boxes with control off the wall, passes that out to Dungeon, but Anonymous cuts the passing lane. It's not on net, and we see Fanshawe take this one in commanding victory.
Commanding one, and that spells trouble for this potential final game where URG, they're under the gun right now. Let's face it, Fanshawe, they were obliterating. Their pressure was absolutely crushing, and URG are struggling to squeak their way through. They managed to find 2, but that was in quick succession. They need to extend that into a game plan.
The thing to note here, though, is Fanshawe game number 1 put 7 shots on in the first minute and a half, 90 seconds or so. URG, despite yielding more goals, held them to fewer shots on net. They've done a good job of evening out the pressure up and down the field a little bit. They just haven't had the consistency to finish on the other end. I'd like to see them bring some of that physicality back, get some of those bumps and demos. We see Fanshawe stacking 3 in the net. You're not shooting on 3 Fanshawe players. Get a player in there to cycle through, steal some boost, get a bump, get a demo, threaten those even. Distract those Fanshawe defenders, and maybe you'll find some more open net opportunities. Oh, that one, Boxes, a little lacking on the accuracy that they've been so good with so far tonight.
He's lacking on the accuracy. Call that l'accuracy.
I furious. I can't say it.
I apologize to everybody back at home. And Dungeon, he might have to apologize. Send a formal letter to URG. He was able to score this ceiling shot. Not quite.
Fanshawe trying to bring that pressure. Wide rotations across the midfield allows them to make aggressive challenges upfield, but it does slow down that attack and gives URG a little bit of time to cycle back through and set up a defensive rotation themselves.
Ooh, this is awkward. Still out to the side. Sistane goes. JCB looks to pop that back in. It's up high. Sistane lurking on the backboard. Boxes wastes a lot of boost. Natsu from an angle doesn't have enough power, nor the accuracy is anonymous. Pinch that back. It goes towards J-Spiel into Natsu. And Natsu throws it away into the corner, actually. J-Spiel tries to get a touch, but it's denied.
I love that little touch out to the pass from J-Spiel. This one's lurking in front of the net, but they can't quite get there. Fanshawe will continue to see a 0 on the scoreline despite a beautiful opportunity. And URG looking to turn this one around, set one up themselves. That's past one, and the commit forward doesn't yield results.
Ooh, Dungeon, if it rips one, that might just be on target, or that might just be powerful enough. Sistane and Dungeon both far back in the defense. You see Dungeon sitting in net. I feel like they're taking a way more defensive approach. That is not something that suits them whatsoever. They need to be going into the attack, really putting the screws to the opposing team, to URG, and that's the way they break through, and Dungeon shows why.
Wow, I was scared seeing this one happen. Sistane and Boxes both tied up on each other down in that URG corner. If Dungeon gets beat, that's a free one back the other way. But to Dungeon's credit, again, despite earlier misgivings, they have not let it shake their confidence. They know they've got the win over top, and they will find goal 1 for Fanshawe.
Sometimes that just happens quickly. If you were able to move down the other end, Fanshawe. This could still very well be a tight game. Dungeon from distance doesn't quite get it on target, but the second tap, oh, it's incredibly close, but it's denied by the post of Dungeon. Puts that one right back in, going the wrong way. Natsu is, but Anonymous still keeps it clear.
That's a bold back pass right there to Anonymous. Not a lot of time to comment, not a lot of time to recognize what's happening. A little bit of a misgiving, and that one finds the back of the net on the own goal, but URG quick on their feet. Will continue to keep this one a 1-goal game, but this is the dangerous Fanshawe we know and love. They've established offensive pressure. They've got URG pinned back into their end. As I say that, J-Spiel trying to put some mechanical flourish over the top. They don't find it, but it's a great threat to say, hey, we're not out of this yet. You've only got one. And you know what I say? One is none, 2 is one, 2 is one, none is... Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say.
1 is none, 1 is 1. It's really great math lessons here.
Yeah. 2 is 1, 1 is none. There it is. That's the saying.
There we go. We'll get there in the end as Dungeon tries to get down the other side as well. It doesn't touch base with the net. Dungeon still to the center though. Sistane has another attempt, flies over the play. Boxes is able to take over. It's an elaborate fake out. Let's just call it that.
You know, I find myself rooting for URG here. These teams have been so evenly matched. It's been such an exciting game. If we don't see Game 5, I will be just very, very sad. There's an opportunity, but the diving attempt, they're still lurking in front of the net. J-Spiel finding themselves the wrong way, and Boxes has a great pressure upfield. This one deep down back into Fanshawe's end, and finally, it calms down just a little bit before URG tries to throw it on again.
It calms down just a bit, but that might just be the calm before the storm. Sistane just needs to recover in time. Doesn't quite manage. Natsu does the 360, turn around the ball, quick roundabout, but it does get back to the play at hand. Dungeon on the clear away. J-Spiel pops that one up, but gets bumped out of the way. This should be Dungeon, but he's backwards. It's clear away, but it's a bit awkward as we head into this final minute.
Natsu up high. Demos from Dungeon trying to clear out that net, trying to give a little more pressure to Fanshawe. Natsu, great patience. Doesn't panic when they see that one die in front of them. Slows down, collects, tries to drive this forward, but Fanshawe continues the crushing pressure they've managed this whole game. And every time I open my mouth to say that, URG turns it around for a good look. Maybe I just got to keep talking about Fanshawe pressure. Maybe URG can find success off the back. Open net opportunity. No, Natsu's back. I didn't see him behind the ball. And this continues to be a 1-goal game.
Ooh, they might extend that lead to 2. They've been getting so close, but both teams, they have just been trading haymakers back and forth. Now Natsu can deal the knockout blows. Dungeon to swap that out to the side, blocks the shot. Boxes pops that up. Dungeon looks for the clear away. J-Spiel back in defense. Absolutely stellar plays. And Anonymous pops it up. 0 boost on the clear away. There's nobody there to catch it. And that will be a back and forth game, but it will fall the game or the way of Fanshawe.
I have to touch real quick. First, GG's to all the players on the field. That was a wonderful showing. Fanshawe walks away, continues to be undefeated in series here. But I do have to touch real quick on your haymaker comment at the end there. I was a boxer in college, and that's such a fitting analogy for what happened here. You could see both teams at the end of that game throwing these big, long shots on net. And just like haymakers in boxing, they're just not very good. It gives so much time for your opponent to react. Needed to see URG step up, get in close, throw a couple uppercuts right in front of the net. Unfortunately, they don't manage that Fanshawe. It just ekes out a win here in game 4.
And the agility not quite there for URG to move past the Fanshawe defense. But it looks absolutely amazing either way. This was a phenomenal series, and it very well could have gone to 5, and especially considering that URG, let's go back to the previous game. They lost that, what, was it 5-1?
5-2. It was a
5-2.
hammering.
Exactly, and to come back into the next game and still have a fresh mind, still attempt your absolute hardest, it's still impressive. Unfortunately, impressive doesn't quite get you the entire way.
Yeah, it did give us a great show though. So that we get the win there here as viewers, and we get to see that wonderful showing. But that's gonna do it for these guys. It's not gonna do it for us here tonight. I've been Lars Newt. This has been Hyperia. But coming up with a pair of new casters, Northwood White versus Bay State. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Appreciate the ones that stay and listen to your helpless ways going on and fearing of oblivion. Don't you lose sight of what you want. Care about the simple things in life that bring you joy and wave away the darkness. Leave your worries far behind you and leave your lonesome on
Welcome back to the NECC Network alongside Mr. Hill Monkey Man. We welcome you back into the channel. My name is Bear Lights, and we have our next matchup coming up. It is going to be from the Challengers White Division, and a very close matchup entails moving forward here, Hill Monkey Man.
Yeah, this one has all the makings of being a sleeper hit because it's near the bottom of our current Challengers White Division, but that doesn't mean it isn't set for a little bit of drama. We looked a little bit ago at their current records, and there is a chance for Valpo to really make a statement here to survive into the postseason, whereas North Central, they are maybe playing for a little bit of spoiler, but maybe a chance of their own.
Yeah, an excellent way to follow up with the storyline. For those of you wishing to see the Bay State versus Northwood matchup, unfortunately, they're not able to compete, but we do have in front of us an even matchup like we said. And, for North Central College, not quite this season that you prefer, right? Unfortunately, sitting here at 0-6 and not the best performances here, but that's what the NECC is all about. It's growing your program and making the right choices to move forward. And for me, they're able to play spoilers against a team looking to stay alive, Valpo. This team coming in with, looks like Master Seb, Obliviex, and API. Those three are lines up for this squad. And for North Central College, the three on the pitch here, Hill Monkey Man.
Yeah, for North Central, I mean, it's already looking pretty hot. They doesn't really matter too many of how they bring them in. I think it's gonna be Subs, Googs, and Jurthik. I may be wrong about that one. Oh no, actually, that is Jurthik. And so making us have to explore our grandest of vocabularies to keep up with all your awesome names, which is always great. But you're right. I want to see a continuous growth and progression throughout these programs because regardless of how you end out your season, I mean, you want to take it to that next level. You want to go into the postseason, but I want to see you continuously compete. We get to see this here, Bear, as we go into game number 1.
Yeah, and Jurthik as well. A senior replaces another senior in Meteor, so we'll see how they perform as well. Jumping in here towards the end of the season, I think has played a few series as they are a true 4-man roster. We'll see how he kind of fits into the scheme of things here for North Central College. As you'll see Subs with the first touch off the corner, try to get it to Jurthik, but maybe a little bit too slow as API read it all the way for Valpo, who is in orange. Master Seb throws it off the back wall. A good chance and follow up, and API gonna put it in. It'll be 1-0 for Valpo.
Now, what kind of pie do you think that is? This is a nice apple pie, delicious sweet pie. It's a little bit of alum mode as API will top it off with a fantastic shot. Be able to open things up. That was a great pass by Seb to get things started. And, I gotta look on the other side, North Central. Anyone that puts a "the" in front of their name, I want them to do great things. The Googs, I'm gonna be watching him. Yeah,
exactly. When you go by Googs, usually, no, he's the Googs tonight. He's really owning it. You gotta love it. As Obliviex tries to put it past, but nobody back here, so Jurthik gotta get an open net, so you take those. North Central College is even at a 1.
You gotta be able to take possession when you got it, and Obliviex, if he's gonna give it away to Jurthik, he is a thick man, and he's gonna take a large possession of all that territory over the midfield line, look for any chance that he can to be able to counterattack, and that's how you find an answer. You tell your opponent, hey, we're watching you every step of the way. We're not gonna give you a single chance to breathe, and you can't make a mistake like that with us.
Not a chance. Again, it's still a challenging division, to say the least, appropriately, as, these are tough schedules, and they try to handle it really well. And in fact, when you talk about Valpo, when we talk about their 1-5 record, yeah, that's not the best lining up or on paper or, looking at it. But that being said, they had a lot of close games. The only difference really is they weren't quite able to close out those game 5s as they dropped 2-3 3 times versus the one time they won 1-5.
And sometimes you can chalk that up to a little bit of bad luck, but that's also about a team that needs to consistently finish. If you can't find that finishing factor and form, then that means that's what you got to work on. And you're getting to see a little bit of that coming out from North Central. Valpo was put in a pressure cooker, and this one came out to pop.
Okay, Subs, we see you. North Central College is coming out with a purpose here. It's just jumping in on the play and realizing Master Seb was honestly in a compromising position there and able to finish things here and give them the 2-1 lead. We're still early in this one, and it's just as close as we imagined. And both teams, a couple of mistakes, but typically when you talk about the bottom of a division, you say there's a mistake, but then nothing really gets accomplished from that mistake. Both of these teams taking advantage of the opportunities presented.
They really are. And the few things I need Valpo to continuously do, and they're starting to set it up, as you saw that little bit of a pass in their back corner, is finding each other in space. North Central, they've been doing that a little bit more often, and that pass play really extends the field for themselves. Jurthik Gonna make an individual play, see if he gets challenged. He does, but the Goog's already looking for Jurthik upfield. Can't quite make that next connection as Obliviex gonna leave it. Good communication. This challenger's division just underneath that top level. And so they're trying to really be that next level plays. If your progressions are to be for your entire program, who's gonna be that next man up? It's gonna come from players like these.
Exactly. So you build around it, right? Your impact players, and you look for the ones who are also, seniors to really lead. Because although they may not have been in Rocket League as long, because talent is any age in Rocket League. Really, you can be really young and be a freshman and be the most impactful player. But at the same time, you look for the seniors for that experience in the classroom to lead, to communicate, and so. Really, any way you draw it up, you want that leadership. As you see Valpo now try to go back to work, it'll be Api. We'll leave it for Master Set. He'll play back wall. Now across, Subs able to get to that one. We'll clear it right out, but right into the hands of Obliviex. We'll leave it here. Api shot on, but a little bit too weak there as the defense, the Googs, able to make a save.
And you talk about just a level of maturity and communication necessary to make this work. That's really kind of one of the big difference makers, especially as your mechanics will develop over time. Big demo onto Obliviex is going to shorten up this defense. Api is going to be short for boost. Looking over to Jurthik from the Googs as he gets it around one, but Obliviex has had the lion's share of touches from Valpo, and that one's going to drop its way in. Mathematical, he will get demoed at the end just for a little bit of extra bump, but we're tied 2-2.
Yeah, and hitting the ceiling there. Jurthik wanted to be patient with that one, but it's tough when you know it's on target, and you got to jump out and get it. Unfortunately, was just a little bit short on getting that touch, and so because of that, it'll be a 2-2 game here. Super close. North Central College, so many times they have been destined for greatness. Unfortunately, it slips a little bit away, and Valpo able to even things. Really bring that to life here in this game number 1 if you're just joining us. This will be Api to sidestep the Googs. Now it's just Subs to beat. He's not able to get a touch now. Subs back down the field. He's got plenty of room to work with. And a demo and a shot and in. And the Googs will regain the lead here for North Central College.
But this is all upfield recognition. It's Googs hunting people down. Subs over to Jurthik. And Jurthik actually had that one. That was going to be the 1-2-3. Googs is like, no. I opened up that net. I kind of want the credit. Sorry, Jurthik. I want to get a step in front of you. They want to get that dessert at the end of that buffet line. See if they can hang out. I don't think Jurthik is going to hate on him too much for it.
Oh, and NCC with lots of fans in the chat as well, so looking to support the team. You love to see that too. And building the program is all about having those people in support, so really good to see that as well as they look to build on this season that wasn't quite theirs. It'll be the Googs. The next wants to add to this lead now, trying to sidestep Api. But not able to do so, so he'll carry right back out. A little bit of boost in the tank, but the pass, no real follow-up there or teammate to locate. So it'll be Jurthik to try to return. Obliviex. Over to Master Seb. Met by a 50 at Subs right at midfield. It's Obliviex. Oh my, he's got to look out as he was backtracking there in a demo the other way. Almost freed it up for NCC. Bye. Almost got that double touch. Will be shut down on the defensive side.
Defensive demos have really been kind of against the likes of Valpo. They've been finding these transitions cut short, as a couple different times their passes have been there, but they've just not been able to make it past the just stalwart linemen that exist on the likes of NCC. A nice extra challenge here on his forehead. Obliviex keeps it alive. Airtime is it on target, and they just are short. Oh, North Central, they'll take game 1. Creativity just didn't have enough to be able to get it over that final line.
Oh, I like the drive from both of these teams who want to prove themselves. It's so fun to watch because that was so close. The control by Obliviex, yeah, got behind him a little bit, but he stayed patient, popped it past one, and gave his teammate an opportunity to score there, but just came up a little bit short. But yeah, both of these teams loving how they're feeling right now coming into the next game. I feel like, they came out with a strategy, and both of them are really sticking to it. I'm impressed with both of these teams right now as it stands. I also see the Valpo fans in chat as well. Don't think I forgot about you. It's such good to see the support in chat, and also the heart that these teams are showing right now.
Yeah, if your season might be done for this fall set of Rocket League here with the NECC, then, you still fight to the very last. You have a couple of weeks competition. You have exactly everything that you need to be able to continuously grow your program, and you find new ways to create success for yourselves. So why not find it in the way of creating some cheeky plays, get a little bit stylistic,
Yeah.
Make sure people remember you towards the end of the season, because you can make that great first step forward into the next.
Yeah, and it was so spread across the scoreboard as well. So everybody getting involved, whether it be goals, assists, and one thing that doesn't show up on the scoreboard, and that's demos, right? I feel like everybody just got into the bumping. I think everybody had a bump that was pretty crucial, and a few demos here or there from different players. It wasn't just one presence doing it. It's the whole team committing to a game plan, and that's such a cool thing to see as we fire up game number 2 for you. As Valpo came up just a little bit short, it was NCC with a game 1 win. But just by that much, though, it was such a close game, and the rest of the series should entail just about the same thing.
I'm going to see, I really want to watch if Valpo is going to over-adjust when it comes to physicality, because NCC, they came at them and just ridiculous with the amount of demos, but that really opened up a lot of gaps, and they were able to utilize that. Obliviex, he's able to grab one here. That one's kind of in transition, trying to find that ball and that next level connection. A little bit of a handoff as the cherry pick does not pan out. Obliviex again. How many times am I going to call his name? He's the front man. That's a giveaway. That's a breakaway. He gets it past 2. He's going to settle it in, and that's going to be an early lead for Valpo.
I'm so impressed by his ability to really calm the play down, recognize, and then react, right? Some players tend to jump towards the ball, trying to make a challenge without them actually having a strategy going into it. And to be able to pop that up, that's twice now in the past 30 seconds or a minute and a half or so, you know, that he's done that. On that last play in game number 1, he continues it there. Obliviex is the player that I have my eye on to really get it back here for Valpo.
Yeah, and you want to go, especially as a teammate, you want to see who has that sense of calm amidst all the chaos, because that is exactly what will give you that level of success. And it's Obliviex who just does not bite under pressure. And again, he gets it away from 2. Obliviex, he'll have the first touch, trying to get it past subs. The next level touch, together. Master sub, they wombo combo, and they're now up by 2.
Master Seb jumps in on the play, but again, it's Obliviex that gets that touch past subs. He couldn't react in time. They get over for the bench. He might have benched off a defender. It won't matter in his mind, as he's given Valpo the 2-0 lead in a good bounce-back effort here in the first minute and a half.
That was wonderful. Never giving up on a play. He got past 3 separate defenders, even when he had 1 boost in the tank. I want to see a whole lot more of that, but you see a little bit more from Valpo as a whole. NCC has really allowed them to kind of go forward. A bit of patient play, putting it underneath, looking for the dolphin dive. Dunk, the shot, opportunity shut down. A pair of saves here as NCC's under pressure.
Yeah, Subs led the way, and then Googs followed it up with a nice save of his own, as he will get the touch back down, but right into the hands of Obliviex. Not the one that you want to see with the ball if you're NCC, the way he's been playing. Really, everybody matching that on the Valpo side, as I've seen plays created from all 3 of these players. As the next touch will be Apide to have an opportunity to sidestep, but it'll be Jurthic. Try to shield it on the wall, but right back into the zone. It'll force Subs off that back wall, and it bounce out to center. And a shot just a little bit wide, as Obliviex not able to connect with that one.
But they keep them honest, because that was very dangerous for North Central. And they're now sending a one-on-one. That could have been a beat that turns into another goal. But as we approach his halftime marker, Obliviex has been the standout, the variable that's kept Valpo very competitive and in control of this second game, really trying to even out this series. Master Seb, all alone, be able to look at that midfield pass that will be cut short. And this is some of that space that needs to be taken away, as North Central has allowed a lot of time, and they finally find one on the back line.
It's the Googs from about half field. Recognizing that the defense not back here, Obliviex put it off the sidewall, expecting maybe to go more horizontal with that pass and find Apide in the middle. Not quite sure what the intention was there, but I know what the Googs' intention was. It was to bury it, and he did. He cut the lead in half here.
He found the, and that the is
The
exactly
net.
the. It's a, hey, look, this is the goal. You need to keep track of. That's the double commit. That may be getting the punishment, but instead, with less than 2 minutes remaining, they're cut in half in this differential. A lot of extra free space is now slowly feeling a little bit more claustrophobic for the likes of Valpo, especially with North Central on the attack.
Subs accidentally jumped prior and then almost got a touch when it was the Googs that tried to put it back towards him. So not able to accomplish much with that volley. But they will continue to try to press here on the 50. A double commit here again for Valpo. But again, no real challenge there right on the ball where an NCC should. Just seems like they're not finding those timely challenges like they should. Jurthic right back down to Subs. He'll try to play back down the field. 2 up and yet another double commit from Valpo. But my question is, when is NCC going to step up and make them pay for it. Right now, it just hasn't quite been there.
Yeah, because they developed those in earnest in game number 1, but they were also banking on a lot of demolition plays to really kind of pan those out. Maybe they're not trusting if they don't create it themselves for it to be there in the first place. Subs, he should be able to bonk this the other direction. He does so. He will give his life for it. The redirect, maybe the goose.
Oh!
Obliviax, he does it on the offensive half, the defensive half. Valpo is living on his shoulders.
Look out, though. The other way, it's Apai. Gonna try to get it past in the sidestep. No, can't. It'll remain 2-1. That's all because of the defense there from Valpo, able to stand strong as Obliviax somehow read that redirect. That looked beautiful from NCC. That's what happens when you face a tough defense. That one's dangerous. But the Googs going to take care of business. It'll be Master Seb forced to retreat here.
Master Seb just needs to not give it away. He will find that boost. And again, Obliviax, the man is the X factor for game 2 to give them a chance. He's going to put it back to the corner. Passive defense. 15 seconds left. They're on the attack. North Central. They have to find something moving forward. North and South. No East and West. Don't make this thing any longer than it has to be. Get your attack going. But the breakaway may be able to seal the deal. Obliviax to the corner. It is still airborne. 1 second left, and Pi looking for the kill. They will grab it. And Valpo does tie up this series 1-1.
They do pull out alive, although it seemed like NCC was the one kind of crushing it at the end, right? Trying to gain a little bit of momentum there, too. The Googs had plenty of chances there. One of the shots was a redirect that somehow Obliviax came up with. So if you backtrack to the many chances NCC had at the end, that's great. And well, maybe they should have done that in the first half of that game as well, and they would have found a W. But regardless, it's even series here, 1-1. So you move past it, right? You want to make sure that you get that full pressure, that full momentum, and cut off that space like you were talking about for the first bit of that game. I think they made the appropriate adjustment. Now it's up to them to stay mentally focused and continue that into game number 3.
NCC looked like an NFL team that was like, all right, it's the 2 minute. Now we actually start playing offense. It's weird. I don't.
Yeah.
Like, professional players are all right. This is the time when we just start gunslinging and we move it downfield. And I, as a viewer, I'm always like, why? Why is it now that we get to see this happening? But you know what? Spread that out. See if you can get that level of attention to detail as well as attack to occur throughout the entire game, and maybe you'll get match point in your back pocket. Obliviax, he's the guy that all of NCC is probably going to be looking at, and I expect them to go get a little bit more physical this time.
I do as well. I think that's really been the key, and I think they can recognize it too. But it was yet to be shown as we do head into this game, and even at one shot for our side, Googs gonna be able to get to it. Trying to get to it again as well, as a 50 will play right into Master Seb's hands, but Jurthik wasn't taking any chances there, and he stepped up on that one as quickly as he can. Now the pinch across. Obliviax going to try to get this read from the back wall. That's a difficult one to make. Does just enough to get it past the press of NCC.
He just put kind of that little front wheel well. He was able to get that nice little tap, and Master Seb a nice push to that backboard. Master Seb is going to be very low on boost, trusting in Obliviax is Apai to get this clear, and again he does so. Doesn't need any boost. The guy's too strong. Don't even give him boost. It's unfair to any team if they're facing him with a full canister. Apai delaying the approach, and that's actually gonna bury it in. Master Seb takes that shot, and they're gonna be able to push it on, and that's gonna be a lead for Valpo.
That's like just a quick reaction, knowing where the 50 is gonna go, trusting your teammate to make that 50 and play it right back down to you there in the midfield. So that was good patience, good recognition, great goal, and a 1-0 lead for Valpo.
See where those challenges lie. And again, a lot of free space, especially vertically, in favor of Valpo. The Googs, he's going to try and keep this one available, and they'll break through. There's the sudden attack, and that is how you smack back and answer your opponent. You know what? You get one, we'll get one right back.
See, the reality is lots of viewers out there will say, hey, this is one of those matchups that's on the lower side of a division, so it's not going to be an exciting one to watch. This has proven all of you that might think that way wrong, as it has been an exciting and super close series here as they go goal for goal here and game for game. As you move forward, the Googs try to find a pass across too. He'll be subs to the back wall. He's got a chance for the double touch here. He's up for it, gets it off the back wall. Jurthik the follow up, and Master Seb able to answer that with a good save.
A lot of teams will lose recognition of where the counter comes from, and it comes from in surplus. Master Seb, they were able to make this forward press, got the 1-2. Obliviax sees him lurking, and Googs just can't quite make that read.
And oh man, and they follow up and do a great job of sticking with things. And so Valpo, again, I said trading goal for goal, and that's quite literally. It's not just 2 here, 2 there. It's 1 and 1 and 1. Mono y mono, these two teams fighting for it. As Master Seb will play off the corner wall. Jurthic. Subs gets the demo there. Said, I don't appreciate the pressure being in my face. And so we'll alleviate some of that with that demo. As the Googs look to push it back down through the side wall. But 8 knows and recognizes it's a cross for Obliviex. Now, those subs misses. Obliviex kind of counted him to touch it, and didn't really happen here. As it'll be Seb misconnecting, and so settling is subs before he's demoed off of here by 8 and a back pass to Obliviex. He goes up for it as well. He'll be off that back wall, but can't really get the angle, so followed up by Seb, but not much he could do with that one either, but continuing to press his Valpo. And a shot on and just wide. And Jurthic's right back down the field on the counterattack, but just gave it directly into the hands of Valpo, who's back on the counterattack and back down and in. Obliviex able to get the redirect. It's 3-1.
That is now a 2-goal run, and Valpo just looks in control. They've really been dominating a lot of zone space, and Master Seb was even available to maybe finish it off, but what a great high-angle drop that was into that opposite side low 90. They've really been able to just contain the likes of NCC, North Central. They've gone very quiet. They've had a lot of their own medicine doled against them. They got to be able to find some space. They have to create that for themselves. They've not won many of these 50s. Valpo has just been in control.
They really have been. They feel like they control their own destiny. And really for the rest of the season, as long as they take care of business here, yeah, they have a couple of games that they have to rely on, but, you know, it's up to you to just win your games. It's simple as that, and so that's what they're looking to do. But NCC trying to make it difficult, but this is right out in front. An opportunity there, but Sub's going to try to clean up the loose change and put it back to a teammate. Back down to center. Read all the way by Jurthic. And he'll clear it back down the field for NCC. Subs now from the corner. Reads it. Does get it across. It's over to Jurthic, just wide. And Valpo will get out of that challenge alive.
Or Central, they're eventually finding their identity, and again, they did it late in game number 2. They're really able to threaten Valpo, and bit of a fake out and give Seb an extra chance to move forward, but Jurthic looking for a cherry pick. It's going to be a rotation in the other direction. Jurthic climbing the ladder. That's going to go to the ceiling. Does he have the Googs? The Googs, the miss. It's sadly not going to go, but it goes the other direction. Master Seb, it's on target, and that's a big save by Subs.
My goodness, he got back to that one. He'll keep him alive for now. And that was a big save, a large save. Tier S save. As Apai will try to beat the defense, the Googs. Gonna keep it in the zone in the meantime. Although unfortunately missing does come out big on the defense. As Seb, a little bit too hot to handle there for Apai, and so Googs will jump on it and try to get any kind of counterattack working. But for Mihail Monkey Man, when it comes to NCC, they just tend to give up possession. There it is again, as Master Seb gonna go up for this one, trying to get the 50, leave it for Apai, a shot on. Oh, it's a bullet to the top shelf, 4-1.
You're not going to stop that speed, especially this elevation. They had too many men on the ground and not enough able to defend from that backboard. The Googs had the greatest chance, and even then, it was top-level speed that just cannot be beat. And like you said, possession has been given away. This is something that NCC, they had in spades in game 1. Game number 2, they found it very late. I expect them to continue to try and proliferate that, but it just seems like Valpo has come to play and maybe put this away to get match point.
And rolling back down again, Subs will have to step over and get to it. But yeah, it's probably too late. It will most likely be match point. At this point, I'm willing to call it too. So it'll be NCC looking to build back, bounce back. They got an early win, and since then, it has been Valpo for the most part. As trying to make some adjustments here, NCC. I mean, they're doing a better job of getting out there and challenging, but now it's just about, you know, landing those opportunities like you did in game 1 that made you ultimately successful and try to get back to that. That's easier said than done. It's going to take a lot of focus here.
A lot of great success did come from their backboard play when they did get a lot of those perimeter plays, either from just near side wall or top vertical. They did have the second man following up, and I know that you don't want to overcommit, and I know you don't want to take that risk, but sometimes, especially in the situations they brought themselves into, you got to bring up that third man rotation. So keep that contained as best as you can. Valpo, they have exposed their backline several different times, but they didn't get as punished as they did in game number 1. You saw a lot of, you know, just the Legion of Boom style. I'm going to go for that intercept. I'm going to go and lay out a guy. I'm going to go really take care of business. And that's all but disappeared. And Valpo, that's why they were in control.
I agree, and then you add to the fact that NCC hasn't really recognized, that Valpo, they're giving them more space to work with because it seems like every time they look to go in transition, they pop it off the front of their car right to midfield where they're able to collect, or if they want to, really Valpo has the opportunity to pop it up in the air and make a play happen from the air. You know that they're super solid in the air. Maybe not the top tier player mechanically on this pitch, but they're able to make plays happen regardless. They're capable of doing it. So now it's up to NCC to make the adjustments as we hop you in to game number 4, and it's match point for Valpo.
Valpo, they had 4 different matches go to game 5. 3 of them they could not bring home the bacon with. And they've felt that now in this position they are in this Challengers White division. They want to be able to improve as best they can and say, you know what, we are a team that can finish, and they will finish as they go throughout this matchup with NCC. Big lob over as Jurthick is actually going to give it back to Apai. Apai looking for a midfield pass. Master Seb has just been kind of lurking, but he comes in and strikes at the best time. A setup, maybe another, and they do double commit, but that leaves Obliviex, who's been sure-handed on the back line.
Yeah, it's been super solid. When you can rely on your teammates, that is what makes you relax in a series that's been super close. And for me, Obliviex has been clearly the most consistent player in this on this pitch in this series. So you look for a leader like that to really set the tone, and for him, it's one of the reasons why Valpo was able to bring it back from a 1-0 series to a 2-1 now as they look to close. It'll be Apai. Beat to it by the Googs. Oh, that one's kind of a mistouch as both of them look to go for it, but didn't really get in the right direction, and now Subs will play right back into the zone. And try to start again. North Central College with a shot. It'll be Subs that buries it, and it'll be 1-0 here with 3:35 remaining.
I had been waiting on North Central to finally take advantage of this. There's been a comfort zone created from a lack of North Central attack. That they've been kind of on the side of Valpo, just lackadaisically holding and possessing the ball. Even if it's on their half, just near their goal line, they're like, they're not coming. Suddenly, you get exactly what NCC had them made them successful in game 1, and that's exactly it. A lurk, an attack, a sudden smack. Let's go forward and see more of that. But Valpo, they can get more of this control as they just push this ball downfield again.
And now it'll be a Master Set from the sidewall. Well, actually for the ceiling, as he brought it all the way up, it almost scored. As that one went just a bit high. It'll be Apai to follow. Jurthick out to meet him, but doesn't quite get it done. And almost sneaking that in was Apai, as he was lurking himself and kind of took one out of the playbook of Master Seb. And almost snuck that one in, Hail Monkey Man.
Oh, yeah.
Wait.
No. Wait. Hold on. Master Seb was here, so I thought maybe. Apai. Okay. All right. So a bit of subterfuge, if you will, as Subs makes one of the best shots we've seen from him this entire game so far. a little bit rough. So try to dodge out of the way, try to get as best as they could, but NCC, they will actually give one to Valpo. Nice early Christmas gift.
Yeah, I like when I see somebody make a decision, they go for it 100%, and that's exactly what happened there. It's a shot on will be handled by the Googs from the back wall. Good save there. Master Seb gonna try to work a one-on-one with the Googs, but it was not to be, and so he's right back out of the zone. Here's Apai, meet it at center. A little bit too far away from himself, but Master Seb there to help. Subs, good job to redeem himself there with a good save. We'll push it right back into the zone and plenty of room to work with as well, as he tries to beat out Apai to get to it. The pass across, not quite there. Seb, plenty of room. Apai out for a bump as well. Gets it. Oh, it's just one. Back up and down. He sticks with it and puts it in. That's persistence, Hail Monkey Man. They're up 2-1.
Never give up on the play. It went straight up. He turns, he waits, he scores. And that bump and that collision at the near side post created just enough chaos to give them some room. It's like waiting for the basketball to come off the rim. Will they be able to put it back? Can they get anything from that backboard? And they do. 2-1. One may have been your opponent making an amazing shot for themselves, but the Googs climb the ladder. No double touch. Subs the off shot. He'll bring it back. That's redemption.
He's staying alive here. Subs able to get one back as he steps up to midfield with a purpose, realizing that everybody was missing there and just able to go far side. That's a well-placed shot, Hail Monkey Man. We saw him do it on one side of the field, and why not the other side as well? As now they are back even here at 2. with a minute 44 and NCC, North Central College Red, trying to keep their series alive. Oblivix getting back to the dribbling, which we haven't seen a whole lot of since game 1 and 2. And, he hasn't really had to be honest, with the way they're playing and getting these dubs.
Yeah, he's been trying to really just do a little bit more airball, clearing it out. He realizes there's a little bit more advantage for Valpo over NCC if they go a little bit more airtime. As he can make those individual beats. He can make those slow reads, just like he does right there. But again, he finds them in open space, and NCC really hasn't been great in that capacity. We're coming up on the minute mark here, Bear, and Valpo, they're facing a team that can evolve late, but North Central, they're going to have to really find that third-tier evolution to get us to Game 5.
I think so as well. Plus, you're dealing with Oblivix. Look for him to be the one that really makes the standout play here to uneven things here in this game, as he will be the next to touch as well. Gets a wave dash to try to continue his momentum forward, but Jurthik trying to play one in as well. Master Seb with the big clear down the field. All right, and the hands of Goobs would hit right back into the zone. Good read there from Master Seb once, but not able to do it twice, as Jurthik going to go wide with it. He's right in the hands of Oblivix, but he loosely plays it out in front and allowed a shot there from North Central College. But it didn't really affect them much, as the Googs will look to go to the back wall, down to 19 seconds left. And we'll see what happens here, Hill Monkey Man, perhaps another overtime.
Come back in for the final few seconds. As you get Oblivix up to that top side corner. Everything all looking good. Top level. Oh my god.
Unable to get to it. Still up. Overtime here in this game. Now, kickoff will ensue. Looking to close it out now will be Valpo. The Googs trying to have other ideas too. Apai, kind of a horizontal pass here. Jurthik tries to get it across. A demo on two. Up in the air. Subs for it. Tries to even the series. Well, not able to get to it either. Yeah, now we play on. Jurthik. Oblivix gets another touch. It's right there in center, but nobody really able to do much with it. So it continues to be this 2-2 battle. And Apai has also been a big factor here with the 2 goals that he's had in this game, which he's been a little bit quiet otherwise.
Yeah, it's been kind of strange because he'll set up the most amazing passes, and it just seems very standard, very kind of nothing. And that's really what it finds his opponent just kind of off guard, because it's just coming from a regular point of view. You don't have anything that's making stylistic about it, but he'll just stick with a play. And that's something that you want in a player. They will not just easily give up on something offensive. But now a minute into this overtime, he's going to have to be the first man to make this touch. No, he will not challenge against Subs. In fact, waits on Master Seb. Seb v Subs, trying to move it over that offensive half. That's a lot of s's going on. Sneaky snakes. This one dangerously hopping around Jurthik, trying to see if he can center it up.
Oh, and got it to Subs, but a good read from Apai back out to no other than Oblivix. We'll try to set it up. A great pass across. Oh, Subs with a huge save to keep them alive.
Oh, but that's the Googs. One extra play. Individual, no. Apai, you called him out earlier. He has been quietly huge, large, and in charge. Able to keep that one calm, cool, and kosher. Oblivix catching it on. We're approaching the 2-minute mark in OT. Both these squads trying to define the end of this season with some success. Subs, he actually is one of the reasons that we're in this OT, and he's going to try and be one of the big reasons why it may end. Subs in a one-on-one against Oblivix, but they delete him from the field.
Oh my, that was a mission to get him off the field, because Oblivix did have an opportunity there, and that's not who you want to see. Oh, Apai on the front post tap in, and it'll be Valpo that ends it in overtime, 3-2, and will take the series.
Wait!
Oh my!
Apai got bumped into making the redirect front post shots. That's amazing. He got absolutely just soared. Now they went to go delete Apai from the net, and they threw him in the exact spot he needed to be to take that shot. That's wild, Bear. That's absurd.
Well, if anything is gonna sub of the season here for NCC, I guess that would be it. That's so unfortunate. Subs with the own goal earlier, of course, he's probably wanting that one back. And for NCC, they had nothing to lose in this one, but that still feels bad. Like, you try to do everything right, and I would argue that they were. starting to put things together, right? A couple of huge saves there, really both ways. But NCC, for example, they were doing such a good job to really get back to, a focused defensive rotation and, not giving the ball away. And then to see a bump that causes the redirect, I mean, that's just when it rains, it pours, right?
Yeah, that's something that you really need to. You cannot blame yourself completely. You have some great ideas that just don't pan out, and you know what? Congratulations on the other end to Valpo. They've been to several different game fives. They deny this one from evolving into that, and we get to see them improve. They do still mathematically. I believe the calculators are running. That we have the mainframe
Got it
up
right here.
and
Yep.
yeah, in all of the cool AIs are trying to figure it out. There's still a chance for Valpo to make that top 8 playoff. So there's some greatness that comes from there because that's a +2 differential now on their game. So we get to see what happens going to week 8.
Oh my, it'll be super fun. I don't think there's any doubt about that. We have another series for you after this short break. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the NECC Network.
Timmy Turner. He was wishing for a burner to kill everybody walking. He knows that it's still in the furnace. My bitch and BT. I mean, while it's fucking on BT, wildin' for Wiley. Kill everybody walking. He knows that it's still in the furnace. Timmy Turner. He was wishing for a burner to kill everybody walking. He knows that it's all in the furnace. Fuck bitch and BT. Had me wildin', she fucking on BT. Wildin' for Wiley. Kill everybody walking. You know that it's all in the furnace. Timmy Turner. He was wishing for a burner to kill everybody walking. He knows that it's all in the furnace. Fuck bitch and BT. Had me wildin', she fucking on BT. Wildin' for Wiley. Kill everybody walking. He knows that it's all in the furnace. Timmy Turner. He was wishing for a burner to kill everybody walking. He knows that it's all in the furnace. Fuck bitch and BT. Had me wildin', she fucking on BT. Wildin' for Wiley. To kill everybody walking. You know that it's all in the furnace. Timmy Turner. He was wishing for a burner to kill everybody walking. He knows that it's all in the furnace. Fuck with your BT. Had me wildin', she fucking on BT. Wildin' for Wiley. Kill everybody walking. He knows that it's all in the furnace. Timmy Turner. He was wishing for a burner to kill everybody walking. He knows that it's all in the furnace. Fuck with your BT. Had me wildin', she fucking on BT. Wildin' for Wiley. To kill everybody walking. He knows that it's all in the furnace.
Welcome back to the NECC Network alongside Hill Monkey Man. My name is Bear Lights, and we bring you even further. This time it's match 4 for the NECC Rocket League Knights. Hill Monkey Man, a great series to start things off at the bottom of the Challengers Division. Now we move into the top of the Emergence Yellow Division.
Yep, we're at the top 4. These two squads are looking to be able to really kind of pluck out the entire rest of the pack to see who's going to be that front runner as we go towards this postseason. We've already been talking about it, how these last 2 weeks are really going to kind of cut the chaff on who's left and who's the best heading into that portion. And these two are set to really kind of buck heads about it.
Yeah, Misericordia is going to be coming in at 6-0, which is obviously impressive no matter what division you're put in, because the division is obviously set to be even squad. So coming in at 6-0, an impressive record there. But you know what? Don't sleep on Academy West Point. West Point sitting at 4-1 now, Hill Monkey Man, and looking pretty sharp themselves, looking to climb that leaderboard and perhaps steal that #1 spot from Misericordia.
There is nothing better, nothing just more sweet than being that squad that delivers that little one in the loss column. And you want to be that one, whether it's during the regular season or in the playoffs. You know what? It's even more detrimental in the playoffs. So if you're Misericordia and if it's going to happen here, it's fine. But it gives them a little bit of a wake-up call, gives you something to work towards. But again, going undefeated, Misericordia, they would love to be able to keep that nice, perfect 0. I want to see how it goes. We're going to go into game #1 here, Bear, and this is set to be a pretty awesome game. I can't wait.
I'm stoked as well. I did say Academy West Point. I meant Army West Point. Either way, they're going to take the field, probably with the appropriate name, as we move closer and closer to this game number 1. And at the top of this division, Hail Monkey Man, what we will notice off the bat is maybe a little bit more of unstructured gameplay to start things off, because you're nervous. You're ready to take the top spot. But these are the 2 higher teams in the division, so it's bound to be a good one. We begin with game number 1.
Army gonna come out firing. I said as a pun. I also say that as a way of them to get on the attack. JJ. Nice little corner touch, and we're going to see it actually be Misericordia who gets up onto the offensive half early, but with an early response. These two are going to be vying for that midfield control. I think that's going to happen a whole lot of times. They're going to be going for these man-on-man challenges. I want to see how these rotations occur. Nick with a nice little drop-off. That could be going to sink, and it turns into a demo, but it turns into a score regardless.
Yeah, and that's because Nick, again, like you said right off the bat, is controlling the middle of the field, jumps to the sidewall, and puts it on the net. Of course, it was a little bit high to begin with, but, I mean, you have a teammate in support able to tap that one in, and, well, maybe not tap it in. Was demoed to the process. Turned into an own goal, I guess, technically, but that's doing the right things, and good things will happen.
You know, something that has to be mentioned, Misericordia, they have Nick on their side, RLCSX regional champion, Team Queso. So, you know, no big deal. That's just on one half of this squad. So keep a note of that as this thing will eventually develop. But Misericordia, they're going to try and maintain control. Nick going up to the top. He's going to try and climb that top ladder. A nice little trap. It gives a chance over to Sink. And you're going to get a lot of these pressure plays that just develop. And as they go side to side, they will have at least 2 to 3 attacks and shots on the same play.
And Santa will go off the back wall with it, and maybe just a little bit too slow there from JJ to get across to. That's why he went high with it ultimately. But Santa will work this back wall. A couple of touches, wanting to go far side with it, but it's turned all the way, and Nick able to get a touch out. We'll leave it for Joe V30. We'll get past another one and leave it for Nick, who is actually beat to it by JJ, and he'll play it out of the zone. Coco waiting for it. Santa as well with the follow-up here for Army West Point, as they will have to back out and retreat, but a misplay here. JJ up for this one already. He gets a hit, will get the flip reset, but not able to do anything with it, as Nick will chase this one down to the corner, and he will play out, use that experience to his advantage here as he gets another pass across and finishes it himself. That's that speed he shows in the RLCS. He's bringing it to the NECC 2-0.
Unfortunate for Coco, he ended up bumping his own teammate right in that same rotation line, and then Nick just goes downfield to punish, comes off the sidewall, drops it on the goal line, and has the next level ability to wave dash, come over to it, and just drill it in. That's 2 up. Nick has both of them. He's been able to bait up one attack after a demo to make it happen. He's got a great supporting cast in the likes of both Joe as well as Sink. But you know what? He's been able to do a lot of it himself in this early